Up next on the Morning Cruise, we're joined by Silke Rylands. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Silke Rylands, the director of Ubuntu Charity, a remarkable organization empowering children from Imizamo Yethu to become leaders, and change makers in their own community. From soup kitchens to recycling projects, Ubuntu is giving young people the tools to make a difference. So please stay tuned while Silke will be telling us her journey. But first, before we dive into Ubuntu, let's get to know Silke first. Silke, where are you from? Where were you born? Interesting. So to get to know you.
So my name is Silke. I'm originally from Germany.
Oh, nice.
I was born in 1983. And then I first came to South Africa for work, because my company opened up a branch in Joburg. But then I met my now husband, and that's why I finally then in the end moved to South Africa.
Nice. Welcome home. Now this is your home,
Yep.
Make sure it's... And I love the fact that while you're making it a home, you're also giving back to the community, which is super, super big and stressful. Because sometimes with organizations in South Africa... there's no money, there's no funding, but you can't tell the people that you're helping, that, hey, those are the things. But you'll tell us more. So can you tell us how Ubuntu Charity began and what inspired you to start it?
When I first moved to South Africa, I was first in Joburg, but then when we moved down to Cape Town, because my husband is originally from here, I just had the feeling that I have to give back. I think I was always a bit of a person with quite a lot of empathy and a feeling of justice, and obviously I knew before there's poverty in the world, but it's different if you. I come from Germany, quite a rich country, and then to be surrounded by the poverty. You cannot not see it in your daily life. And then I just thought, let's do something. And then first I didn't know where to start, obviously, because there are so many opportunity areas, let's call it that way. And then somebody that I know who also still helps at Ubuntu Charity nowadays, 6 years later, he brought me to Imizamo Yethu, to a elderly lady called Mama Miriam, and she's actually now also still running our soup kitchen.
Nice.
And that is how it all started. I was sitting there in her tiny backyard, and then the idea started with the soup kitchen, and then I also, the first 3.5 years, cooked myself at home. We put it at the back of the bakkie, brought the food to Imizamo Yethu, and then it all grew from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kemi?
Yeah, you got a impressive range of projects. There's tuition, soup kitchens, recycling. How do you manage it all?
Organizationally, Ubuntu is basically only me. So whatever it is, if it's now from fundraising to printing attendance lists for the tuition program to buying stock for the recycling, that's all me. But when I was in Imizamo Yethu regularly, and it became clear that for me, education is the key. That's why I then started the tuition program and the library, to give the kids education but also values, and that they're in a safe place. And then it all just grew, because then, when you're there and talk to people, get to know everyone, you see the problems. And
talking about the problems in the country, because we've seen it kind of like a similar structure when it comes to, poverty, especially in the Cape Flats. But I'm loving, man, what you're doing. Ryan?
So how do you really encourage young people to get involved in these community projects?
It's actually not so hard. Some of the children actually choose off the road, basically, which sounds a bit weird, but where I saw some of the children that came to our soup kitchen regularly, and I thought, something doesn't look right about that child. And that is actually the children we want to have in our programs, because they need it most. And also the families are very different. Some of the families are very supportive, and they also try to do homework with the children, and they come to parents' evenings. And then we have other families where the parents couldn't care less, and they don't pitch up for anything. They basically don't know what their kids are doing. And those are for us the, let's say, harder cases, but I mean, that's the children that need it most. Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit more. You mentioned like Owen and Simon. Could you tell us a little bit more about their stories and like what have they done like impact wise for Ubuntu?
I mean, Owen, for example, also my 7-year-old son, he loves Owen. They are good friends. Whenever we go on outings, they are hanging out together. And Owen is also one of our sponsored children. We have 30 sponsored children now, where we have a sponsor overseas, most of them in Germany, and they pay a monthly amount, and then those children get groceries for that, and
that's nice.
Clothes regularly, and in the beginning of the year, everything they need for school, like the uniforms, the stationery, and then also like. Now Owen's family got a washing machine, and or if they need any medical treatments that is not covered now with at the public hospitals, and and he's been in our program now since we started the tuition program 5 years ago. So I've basically seen him from a child to now being a teenager, which is quite nice to see the development and how he opened up, and academically and personally. It's quite nice to
a beautiful story.
See, yes.
Again, if you have just tuning in to Bushred 89.5 FM, Ubuntu Charity, it's a German-founded non-profit based in Cape Town that has been making a meaningful impact in Imizamo Yethu community.
And what are like some of the skills that the kids are learning through the activities?
I mean, the tuition program, where we now have 100 children from grade 1 to grade 9, during the week, Monday to Thursday, they actually have lessons, like proper workbooks, a board, and just to help them with their academics and do their homework also. And on a Friday, we do different activities with them. They have yoga. We go to the sports field to do different sports with them. We had, for the older children, we had a 6-week drug intervention program. We get guest speakers in sometimes. We had meditation sessions with them. So that is also that they get to know maybe different hobbies and life skills. Yeah.
So earlier on, we were speaking to Tracy, who's also a CEO at Early Learning Resource Unit. They're an organization that oversee ECD, early child development, and she was highlighting the issue of funding. You know, sometimes it's hard for funding. I know you're saying that you're getting your funding, but sometimes that same funding is never really enough. Or do you feel like, no, Kusi, at Ubuntu, everything is fine? No. How does it go?
I mean, most of our money comes from Germany. That's why also the organization is registered there. Because I'm German, and then, I mean, I'm then the connection between the two continents.
Nice.
But I can also tell that our funding also decreased a little bit now with, I mean, there are also things going on in Germany on another level, but the costs of living got higher. Then there was that whole issue with Ukraine where people also got a bit uncertain. But I mean, we have our, let's say, our fixed costs that we can pay our teachers and also our social workers. They are covered, but if we want to do anything on top, we always have to send out appeals, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And what is our big thing, actually, what we've been wanting for the last 4 years, we would like to build our own community center.
Wow.
And we have a piece of land, actually, which also took 3.5 years to be the official owner. But now we struggle a bit with raising the funds to build a house.
Again, if you have just tuned in, we're speaking to Silke Rylands from Ubuntu Charity, who also the founder of the charity. So now, why is it important for children to become active citizens at a young age? To show them, hey, it doesn't matter even if you are 10 or 9, you always think community. Whatever you're doing, think of how it's going to impact the community. Why is that so important?
Because I think it's very good for their self-esteem, and that they feel needed, and that they can also help and do something and make a difference, and not think like they are, let's say, victims and I can't get out of here anyway, to also show them a perspective. And also, I mean, if we raise all the children to help only a bit, then it would be a better place.
Here at Bush Radio, we have a children's radio show. It's called Crew. We call them leaders in action. You know, they are leaders in action. So yeah, I'm loving what you guys do.
Right.
Yeah, and so like how have local residents responded? Like, what's been the community sort of like...
Imizamo Yethu.
Yeah.
I mean, in the very beginning, when I first pitched up there, they were all a bit skeptical. And I think just thought, there's another one coming to take some pictures once and never comes again, just to make herself feel better. And they were actually, when we were dishing out the food there, and there was hundreds of children, and we couldn't control them at all, they were just sitting around there watching. But then they noticed, they did that for a few weeks, that they were watching us, and then they actually stepped in and helped us. Nice. Because I think they just noticed, okay, she's not just coming here once to take some selfies, that I came every time, same time, no matter what the weather was. And yeah, then actually they are, I mean, not everyone, but generally very helpful and supportive.
And is there a way that someone who is listening can get involved with the Ubuntu Charity?
Yes, of course. I mean, in many ways. I mean, we always need help with looking after children and special activities for Friday. I'm always looking for nice, interesting stuff for the children to do, or when we go on outings, or also organizationally. Like I said, I'm doing it alone, so that is getting quite a lot. Yeah, definitely, yeah, in different ways.
So how old is Ubuntu Charity now?
I started 2018.
2018, damn, that's a long time ago. So what has been your memorable moment? That moment, be like, wow, okay, I've never thought like this thing is going to do this.
I mean, I'm generally amazed, actually, how it all started, that I was just sitting there by Mama Miriam, and that now Ubuntu has 10 people that work for Ubuntu, where it's their main income, and how many children we have in the programs now, how many different projects we have. I never expected that in the beginning, when I thought, let's cook every once in a while.
So besides feeding kids and all that, sorry, Ryan, besides feeding kids, what other programs do you have at Ubuntu?
So we have that daily tuition program, we have a soup kitchen, we have a library, we help people to start their own small business, that they can create an income. We have sponsorships, we have the recycling project, we have a social worker. What else?
Yo, you guys are busy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was just going to ask, like, where do you see this going in the future? Like, you have so many amazing things that you're doing already. Like, do you just see, like, expanding those programs, or do you have, like, a totally new direction you want to take this in? Because, yeah. I
mean, not totally new. And I also think, actually, if it's getting too big, then it's also losing a bit the authenticity. Because especially for the donors in Germany, I'm the face of the whole thing, and the connection. And if it's now getting too big, then we're losing that aspect. And also, to be honest, I like to have my fingers in everything. And,
to be involved.
Yes, and to know what's happening, and that I can step in if something is not going how it's supposed to go. But the big goal is to have that community center, and to unite all our projects that are now all over the township, and to unite everything in that one house, and to have a safe place there for children. And then we could also offer the other things that we can't do at the moment. Like, I have laptops that were donated lying at home, because we can't have them at our classrooms, because they will be gone. Because other people are also using the classrooms. It's like community rooms, and or have a veggie garden to also teach the children about that. But yeah.
There's something symbolic about that. Like, you want to unite everyone under one roof.
Yes.
Yeah.
2025, it's already, I don't know, are we still in the beginning of 2025, or we're still...
No, almost halfway, I think.
Almost halfway. So how's it been like for Ubuntu Charity?
But good. I mean, we had one super exciting thing now recently. One of our donors made our own song.
Wow.
And we're actually busy now making a music video with our kids.
Nice.
So that is super exciting.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And what age are the kids?
In our program, they are 6 to 15.
Oh.
But I mean, other beneficiaries, like for donations or at the soup kitchen, it's like from 0 to 20, basically.
Okay. How can, like, if people want to donate things, or where can people find the Ubuntu Charity?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have our own space yet, so it's not like we have one address where I can say people go there. I mean, for donations, for example, we have drop-off points at the Roots Farm Shop at Earthworks in Hout Bay, for example, or at my house. And otherwise, just contact me.
Yeah.
So, again, we're in the issue of GBV. We've seen it in South Africa where kids are being molested, abused, women being raped.
Yeah.
So, as Ubuntu Charity, why this initiative is important, making sure that kids are loved. Can you explain that part? Because I know as other people, I don't get it. Who had a kid, like a child, but there are still people who abuse kids, But in what essence Ubuntu Charity is showing that, also showing the community, this is how you interact with kids. This is how, you respond to them.
I mean, one thing is, of course, that how our teachers treat the children, and that is also why we don't take volunteers now that come and go. That's why we have teachers from the community, that they are there consistently, they understand the kids' background, the language, and the children know them and trust them. And that is also why I brought in the social worker, because we noticed, the teachers and me noticed issues, and then we didn't know what to do anymore, because there are just problems where you can cause more harm than good if you now, as somebody who has no clue, steps in, like if a child got raped or is being abused at home, and and that is why we have the social worker, and she's basically then like with, let's say, beating the child up, then she's teaching the parents how to solve conflicts differently, and is also following up, going there again and again, that they just change the whole relationship and dynamic.
Nice. Silke Rylands, all the way from Ubuntu Charity in Imizamo Yethu. Oh, what kind of a place is Imizamo Yethu, if you would describe it to someone who have never been there, like Ryan and Kemi? They've never been there, even Loch.
I mean, it's a very lively and joyful place, actually. Where also many of our visitors that come from overseas, they are very often very surprised, because they come and think, because people maybe don't live in the best circumstances, that everybody is sad and, I don't know, and depressed. But actually, I see more joy there than in other suburbs.
Future leaders.
And I mean, it also depends. There are different parts of Imizamo Yethu. Some are still better than others. A few people still live in brick houses, and then if you go further up the mountain, then there are only shacks, and people don't have their own water connection, have to go to a communal tap. So it's a bit like another world, and a city on its own. I mean, there is also everything. You have barbers, you have butchers, you have little spaza shops. You basically have everything you need there. Which is a bit concerning, is that the crime got way more in the last years.
So, with anything, with job, with anything that if you're doing something, there will be a time where you'll be tired and be like, I quit now, I stop. How many times have you been there to a point like, okay, let me just do this, I can't quit now? Obviously, you are a human being, you get tired too, you get frustrated, you get stressed. But how many times, or at what point we were like, I quit, but nah, I can't stop? And also I want to know what kept you going.
I mean, I actually, to be honest, have that quite often.
Oh,
And I think it's also a bit of clash of mentalities because I come here with my German structure. I have an Excel list for everything and I come on time mentality. And then you have the now on the other side.
African time.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, where I was, for example, really frustrated was the first round that we had with helping people to start their own business, where people before were telling me about their business idea, and I checked everything and what they would need to start that business, and they will do this work and that, and they just need somebody to help them to get it started initially. And then basically nothing happened. Then one excuse after another. Or when we are trying to help children and then the parents don't play their role. Yeah, I've been frustrated so many times. But in the end, then I think, okay, it's not the children's fault. And they are the ones that I want to help. And also my husband is very often the one who's then like, Silke, remember why you're doing it, who you're doing it for, and what you achieved already. Just keep going.
Shout out to your husband.
Yep.
Yeah, you have the best husband ever. Thank you very much, Silke, for coming through. But before we let you go, though, anything that you want to add? Because sometimes you'll come to Bush and thinking like, okay, I have to say this. And then we busy bombarding you with so many questions. Anything that you want to add?
No, basically not. Just whoever wants to get involved, please contact me.
Okay, so let's say now somebody who's listening now, they would love to start something like Ubuntu Charity. What words of motivation and also how can they do it? I know that you're getting help with funds, but still is not enough because you want to do more. What words of motivation for that person?
I mean, for me, I know I can't save the whole world, but if I at least save a few people or make them make their lives better. Yeah.
And
then it maybe also has a ripple effect, and yeah.
If you change that one person will change two.
Yes.
It's as you said, the ripple effect. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you.
On 89.5 FM. Hoping that we're going to have you again. This time bringing kids. When is the school holiday? Yeah, okay.
That's a good question.
I'm not asking USA, man. I'm asking South Africa, Ryan. Okay,
my son is on holidays next week.
No, it's fine. But school holidays would love to have some of those kids in your charity.
Oh, they would love it.
Bush Radio.
Yes.
You know, maybe some of them would be their first time being on radio.
Probably
but it would be nice to see those future leaders.
Mm-hmm.